Hi. So I am going with a different approach with my YouTube channel. Ooh, black smoke. Spooky. I am wanting to do my makeup and talk about the show Courage the Cowardly Dog. I've recently been watching it as an adult and have been very surprised at a lot of the adult themes done in a simplistic way in the show that I never picked up on as a child. I know that I found a lot of comfort watching this show that is obviously meant to be scary and weird and spooky, but the writers and the creators of the show were very intentional with what they were creating, especially with themes of childhood trauma and abuse. I mean, if you look at the character of Courage the Cowardly Dog, he is a character full of anxiety and fear. But one thing about the character that is pretty awesome is that he showcases the difference between bravery and fearlessness. You know, he is very courageous, but the way in which he conquers his fears is by being a scaredy cat, is by feeling. He doesn't look like a typically brave character. Like everything that he goes through, he does it with a face of fear, anxiety, and I think that's a really good representation of what it's like to be brave, you know. Oftentimes the depictions of bravery, we see this like very strong character who, you know, has no qualms about conquering their fear. But we have Courage, who symbolizes a child who has been neglected, who lives with an abuser. You know, Eustace Banks is manipulative, he's crockety, he's just an awful human being. And we have Muriel, who is just very naive. You know, she's well-meaning and she's kind, but she's very naive to the things that are going on in her household and in her life. I think the show depicts an experience that we don't often see in cartoons, as kids' cartoons, that's for sure. Another thing that I like about the show is all the monsters that Courage encourages in every episode are either given a backstory or humanized, or, you know, one of the themes that the show is playing with is that hurt people, which in modern day therapy and psychology, hurt people is kind of a dated thing, but that's not for me to say. So you can watch Dr. Romani on YouTube on how to deal with narcissistic behavior for that whole hurt people thing. But yeah, that's like the main theme that this show likes to play with in regards to their monsters of the day or whatever. Alright, so let's get started with the first episode. I'm gonna be putting my face base on. I am using the Sunscreen Queen from Milani. I've been enjoying it. It's been a staple product of mine. So in the first episode, we have a crockety old character. Obviously lonely, obviously not likable, and he dies immediately. His last words is, "I can't move," or "I can't feel," or something along those lines. Very interesting to start off a kid's cartoon with the death of a character like that, you know. And so after he passes away, we have a shadow that gets released from his body, which is supposed to be representative of his soul or whatever. And this ghost spends his time scaring people. And Parker pointed out that this is a trope known as like the gaslighting ghost. He makes his way into their home, and one of the things about the show that I find so funny is that Courage notices these things quickly. Courage notices that something is wrong, and when he points it out to his owners, he's gaslighted. He's told, like, you know, you're stupid. He gets told by Eustace, like, you're stupid, and Muriel, like, you know, I don't know, everything is fine. It further adds to the insanity of Courage. You know, we are going insane with him because to have your reality ignored and not taken seriously creates what Courage is, and it's an anxious and paranoid mess because his reality is not being taken seriously, which is something that happens to a lot of children, unfortunately. So, anyways, the ghost causes some messes in the house, creates drama for them. And so, what ends up happening at the very end is that Courage ends up talking to the ghost, you know, actually listening to the ghost. And the ghost confides in him and say that, you know, all his life that he wanted to be a star, you know, in showbiz. Courage convinces him to be a shadow of the stars in space. So the ghost man just does that. And it's cute, it's sweet. Again, highlighting the whole hurt people thing. So a really good first episode, a really good tone setter. And I thought it was great. One of the things I will say though is that first episode, you can tell that they were a little bit of a low budget cartoon. She's giving MS Paint. But the graphics do get better as the show goes on. Another thing about the show that changes is how much Courage talks. You will notice that in the first couple of episodes that he talks a lot, which goes away later into the show. And I actually found out with an interview with one of the creators is that one of the producers actually suggested that, and I thought it was a really good idea. I thought it was a really good way to highlight the voicelessness or how unheard children are in these kind of households, in this kind of like family dynamic. Very smart decision, I thought. I used this cream concealer from Mercier, the camouflage concealer. I mean, I have these hella fucking eye bags, but it's doing its job. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, is that just hair? Okay, now I blend. No, yeah, I need to blend a little bit more there. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Do you guys remember that last episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog? So scary. You're not perfect. The second episode, so there's a theme with Courage, and they like evil ducks. They have several episodes. Like, even I remember their pilot episode, which is actually not the first episode when you open it on HBO. They like evil ducks. So in this episode, Muriel gets amnesia because of a strike on the head from some tool or something. This episode highlights how much of a piece of shit Eustace is. He takes advantage of the amnesia, he kicks Courage out, and he basically makes Muriel a slave. He's like, you're gonna cook, you're gonna clean, and you're gonna listen to everything I do. And she's like, okay, because she doesn't know any better. She has amnesia, right? So, another just really good episode to just highlight how much of a shitty individual Eustace is. Mercier powder, by the way, my favorite. So we're introduced. So Courage contacts a specialist for the amnesia, and it's an evil duck that likes using the term "qu'est-ce que c'est?" which might be a reference to the Talking Heads. I don't know. I'm hoping that'd be fun. Basically, he is a con man who is just there to take their money. Yeah, he's a con man. There's no trying to justify his behavior. There's no hurt people theming in this one. It's just like just a con man, piece of shit man, right? Like, so, definition. I think, like I said, this one was more so to just highlight Eustace's piece of shitness. I don't know, just how naive being in a small town can be. Or in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I don't really think there was much more to that episode other than that it was a lot of fun. You know, introducing amnesia that early on was something that Parker noted is not very common in shows. It's a common trope, just not common to do it so quickly. The duck was funny. I like the character design. We're introduced to common old school cartoon tropes. This show does take a lot of inspiration from older cartoons in like irrationality and how everything that you need is available. Cartoons. The episode after that is actually a beautiful episode. A character introduced, not a recurring character, but it's the Bigfoot episode. And there is a reward for Bigfoot, and they kind of blame him for a lot of it's funny because in the news channel, for a lot of like natural catastrophes that happen around the world, they blame it on Bigfoot. And there is a reward that Eustace is very excited to get. And in this episode, we do see how courageous Courage is in wanting to protect his household. Even a pie that Muriel made that we see the Bigfoot trying to nab. The Bigfoot and Courage ended up becoming friends, and there's like this really cute dance between them of them just like, I don't know, just enjoying being, I don't know, different. They're just enjoying, I don't know what to call that kind of dancing. They have like tropical fruit in their head. They have like cute skirts, and the song is like tropical, Caribbean, and they I don't know, it's a really cute moment. Eustace walks in and he obviously goes apeshit, and he reports it to the police, and then a mob comes to get Bigfoot. You know, they're all angry, and one thing that I really did like is that Bigfoot is portrayed as this like beast, but he has color in him. The mob are portrayed in like a black silhouette with red scary ass eyes, and I thought that was very interesting because like there's nothing scarier than an angry mob because they're reactionary. You can't control them, so they're a lot scarier than this Bigfoot character. And then at the end, Bigfoot's mom comes and is like, "Don't harm my boy, my boy, my boy. Like this is someone's child." I thought that was very nice. At the very end, Courage also says like, there's a little bit of Bigfoot in us all, right? There's a little bit of weirdness of us all. And Bigfoot like represents a character that might have a little bit more weirdness, a little bit of more differentness than, you know, the average, the normal person. And I thought that was a very sweet sentiment that the creators were doing with that episode. There is a little bit of Bigfoot as all. Some of us are Bigfoot. Okay, in the next episode, Hothead. I'm going through these episodes quickly, and I forgot to give you the names, so I'll put them up here or something for the previous episode names. Hothead. This episode focuses on Eustace going to a clinical tester for a medicine that grows hair. So this episode has theming of self-hatred, of appearance, of cosmetic surgery. Ugh. I don't know, this one was like a really real episode because I know so many people can relate to it. The medicine that they get says like, careful when you use this, don't get mad, otherwise there'll be consequences. And we see these consequences when Courage runs to the bathroom as Eustace is going through the clinical trials, which are very goofy, by the way. You should watch the episode because the trials that Eustace go through are so funny and stupid. We see this when Courage goes into the restroom and sees a man put dots in his head, a bald man, and gets angry because of a paper towel dispenser like not working for him, and then like he gets so angry and hot-headed and red that the dispenser explodes and it creates like a hole in the wall. This is, I mean, like, I don't know. I really think this episode is about like the blind destructfulness that like self-hatred can create. I personally don't align with, you know, destroying things. I know a lot of men, you know, like the trope that people make fun of men for, and like, you know, causing holes in the walls and things like that. I think that is what this episode is playing with. There's a really good moment where Eustace uses the medicine and then he looks in the mirror, and when he looks in the mirror is when his like temper starts to spiral, which is something that I know they do use a lot with Eustace. I know in a later episode they use concept of self-reflection and things like that with him, so that's gonna be fun to see. But yeah, with this episode it got to the point where like simple tasks, like anything, was just annoying and getting Eustace angry and just like getting really hot-headed and just making things explode. You know, we kind of live in a world where we shouldn't be making fun of people who want cosmetic procedures, but oh no, I think I put too much liner at the top. Ew. Very messy, by the way, but I'm gonna blend it out. Okay. Alright, the next episode, Demon in the Mattress. Okay. This episode is done to highlight just how, I don't want to use the word stupid, but like how naive Eustace and Muriel are. So Muriel hates the bed that they're sleeping in. They're like, oh my god, hell no, girl. We need a new mattress. And so Eustace looks in the paper for a new mattress. And he finds one that like looks good. It looks like a really good deal. It looks too good to be true. And when Muriel calls, they already know her name, her number, her address, whatever. Like they already know what she needs. Again, too good to be true. What is going on here? Even Courage makes a note that this sounds sketch. Like, oh, they're in need of a mattress and they're already finding someone to help them supply that. And so we get this honestly amazing scene of these two creatures, and that's one thing that I like about this show, is that they give so much character to characters that we are not going to be seeing ever again in the show. It's the only time we see these like weird weasel, ugly creatures show up, and I think that it's good world building to just highlight like how many just fucked up ugly things are out there in this world, in our world. And so these creatures are on like a chariot bringing the mattress, and they look demonic. The mattress looks demonic. It all just looks very demonic. Courage, obviously, as Courage does, is like, girl, This isn't right. So Muriel, of course, because it's a demon mattress, of course, she gets possessed. She gets angry. She turns into a demon, and this is very inspired by The Exorcist, the portrayal of demonic Muriel. There's even a really beautiful, I mean, I shouldn't use the word beautiful, but I thought it was funny. Vomit scene where she vomits on Eustace. It's pretty fucking funny. This episode is supposed to be about material possessions and also not falling for things too good because it'll make your life worse. This is also a great episode because it's like the first time that we see Eustace like really scared, like really fucking scared of what's going on, and I think it's partly due to the fact that like, you know, he can't function without Muriel, and she's a crazy fucking demon. I don't know, it's good to see this person scared. It's funny because he always makes fun of Courage for being stupid, for being a scaredy cat, and indulges in scaring Courage, that when the moment comes to him having to help out his wife, he can't do it. But yeah, when it comes down to it, Eustace can't even help his fucking wife. He is a coward. He's a coward! He's a small man. As most narcissistic men are. And yes, I would wager that Eustace is a narcissist. Ooh, okay. Eye looking good. Put him a little bit of shadow. This is the Fetish palette. So old. I'm gonna be using the shade Safe Word just to put in the crease, add a little bit of dimension. Just a little bit of dimension. Okay, so I'm putting shadow in my eye. So I actually was not going to talk about Demon in the Mattress. I was going to save that for the next episode because the next episode is going to be intense. It's probably going to be the most intense one just because I've never seen the portrayal of a certain kind of individual that unfortunately some children have to, you know, experience. So I was going to use the Demon in the Mattress episode kind of as a way of softening the blow from what the next episode is. So fucked up. It's fucked up. It's a fucked up episode. Episode of Freaky Fred. That's gonna be a good one, but I guess that one deserves a dedicated video. I don't know. Like, a part of me almost like doesn't want to do it. I have to, obviously, but it's, you know, that episode is just it's a little much. It's a little much, y'all. Beautiful. Oh, I forgot to do my brows. I'll do them right now. I think I'm gonna probably, you know, just do that episode by itself, only because it has such a heavy theme to it. Oh, those are nice. Not so even, but whatever. I continue to be impressed with the show and the episodes that I watched and just how thought out they are, especially for the time. It's definitely a show that some of the themes that they deal with could not be done today, I feel. Especially the Freaky Fred episode. I think that's probably going to be the most upsetting episode for people to watch. It was for me. I watched it a second time just because, like, I want to be able to give it a good review and things like that, but watching it the second time was just like, girl, I couldn't do it. Like, I wanted to turn it off because it's just, she's looking cute. Model time. I think that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you enjoyed it. I'm obviously a small channel with a small viewing, and I always appreciate the people who watch me. But I hope to continue the series. I think it's fun. I think it's simple. You know, I'm doing my makeup while doing it, so I feel good doing it. I feel good talking about the show. It's just a simple concept that I think that I can go forward with, and I hope you enjoy.